And just like that, we're here.
Just like that. How you doing today, John? Little less jacked up about things, or no?
Yeah, I guess.
I had to get out. I went to the range and went to the farm, and I just had to feel a little bit productive, get my mind off it. Like ever since Friday, I've just been jacked. I don't know how
vibrating.
Yep, for sure. So I went out and shot my my CZ, my 22.
Good deal.
And you know what? That damn what the hell is that? The standard velocity CCI.
Yeah.
It shot so well before at 50. So I bought 2 bricks of them.
Yeah.
now the new bricks don't shoot so well.
It's a different lot.
It is. But you know what? They shot tighter at 100 than they did at 50.
Oh. Well, speaking of that little tidbit of information, where the hell are those targets? Oh, they're way the hell over there. Oh, I went and I took that LRP out and with that scope I got from XRO, that Athlon on there, and it was. I shot it at 50 a little bit in high winds, and then I shot it a little bit at 75. The winds weren't terrible, but they weren't great either. But then on Monday, I get home from work, and it's like the wind is like 6K an hour. I'm like, I walk in the house and look at my wife and I go, I think I'm going to go shooting. And she's like, okay. That's all, like no supper, no nothing, straight to the range. And so what I did was I had an idea from the 75-yard targets. The ammo was going to like maybe a little bit better because I found a big difference between 50 and 75. Like, I'm not sure why it is, but like rimfire ammo, it all seems to shoot pretty good out of that thing at 25 and 50. You take it out to 75, and that extra 25 yards just opens up the groups on the crappier ammo just a lot more, right? So, that's all good. So I go to 100, and I had, I think it was 4, 5, 6, 7 types of ammo that shot good at 75 yards that I thought might shoot pretty good at 100. And the one big disappointment was that Federal Champion Blue Box. It's supposed to be standard velocity ammo, but it patterned at 100. Like nothing. I had a couple of groups, like the Aguila rifle match. The Ely Club I thought was going to be better than it was, and it wasn't.
Right.
The Ely Green, I'm not sure what it is. I'm not sure what. It's just a green box that just says Ely Sport, I think, or something like that on there. But it's a green box, and every single 10-round group has at least one flyer that is completely out of the group. Like, and by out of the group, I mean it went from a 0.7 of an inch group at 100 yards to 1.8 inch group at 100 yards. It's like really annoying, like a full MOA out of the rest of the group, right? So it's just anyway. So I just kind of. What really surprised me was the SK rifle match seemed to be about right. That it was like just under an inch
nice
group,
and steady,
nice and steady, just under an inch group. Standard deviation on the SD on the velocity was 8.3.
No kidding. So was that the stuff that you found was best in terms of velocity data?
Velocity wise, I'm not 100% sure. I don't have the data sitting right here in front of me right now.
But what shot tightest for velocities is what I'm saying.
Well, it's a funny story. The standard deviation on the SK rifle match, the Ely Green, the Ely Club, and the Aguila were all between 8.2 and 8.7 SDs. But the problem was the Ely, the orange and the green, both had one that was outside of that SD by a fair margin, whereas the Aguila and the SK seemed to all be, right in that butter zone. So that made me feel pretty good. So,
you know what I'm finding now? This is a little bit off topic, but I mean, I've never on a 22 had anything more than a 3 to 9. Now, and especially shooting at 100 with that 4 to 16 vortex, you see this.
Yes, well,
and it is weird. I feel like I'm steering it.
What's really wild is you see it. You don't see it so much at 50, but at 75 and 100, you see it for sure.
Yeah.
But you see the black circle hit the target and make a hole.
Yeah, I know.
But you
like,
only see it with the you only see it with the standard velocity stuff. You don't see it with the high velocity, like the CCI Stingers and stuff like that. You don't see nothing with anything over that's supersonic at 50. You don't see it. I'm not sure about 100, but what's really wild to me is how you can see the bullet go. You can see it it enters your vision up and curves into the hole, and it curves into the hole, and it curves. It's like, what the hell? Why are you doing that? But
I know it's weird.
It just drives you bonkers. But it's just absolutely phenomenal how consistent it is. So now my next plan is to take it out to 200 and see how consistent it can be at 200. Problem number one, I've got a 25 MOA rail on that LRP. It came factory with the rifle, and at 100 yards. I've only got 5 mils of elevation left, which means that scope turret is going to max out at around between 190 and 215, depending on velocity with those projectiles.
Sure.
So that's a downside, I guess. But I know somebody, happens to be the same guy who sold me the scope, who has 30 MOA rails on the shelf for this CZ. The downside is, I think I'd like to go to a 35 or maybe a 40.
What?
So I can dial up out to 350.
Mon Dieu.
And let's just see here. I punched all this information in for my last range trip because I got the velocities and Ice Knife. I paid for the full version of Ice Knife once upon a time. So if I look at my load and I look at user loads, and I've got, where is it now? I had it. Damn it.
Hey, do you remember Cody that came out when we were all at the range?
I remember that guy. Yeah.
He was out today again, and he's got one of those little Tika, what is it, Tika T1X or something?
Okay, yeah.
The little 22.
Yeah.
Or T3X? I
know what you're talking about.
They're a nice little rifle.
They're a little 22, yeah.
For sure. And I've got that, what is it? It's got to be a third size, third size IFSC. Hunk of steel hanging at 250 there.
Yeah.
And that son of a gun was just blasting that thing.
Good for him.
Round after round after round after round. Here I'm steering bullets into the paper at 100 yards.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, let's see here. Zero range.
I'll get on it though.
Let's see if we get this 0 to 25 done. Compute. So if I'm zeroed at 25 yards, right?
Yeah.
At 100 yards, I'm up 2 mils. At 200 yards, I'm up 7 mils. At 300 yards, I'm up 12.66 mils.
Yeah,
that scope only has 15 mils of elevation adjustment. So, and I'm not all the way down at the bottom to 0 at 25, which means that I've only got maybe 12 mils of elevation. Yeah. So if I want to get out to 350, I need 15.76.
Yeah.
And 3.2 MOA gives me 1 mil, which means that with my 25 MOA rail, and if I'm going to max out at around 250, maybe if this dope is right, and I don't think it is. Right. If I max out at 250, that means I need another 7 MOA of adjustment, or 7 milliradians. 7 times 3 is 21. So that means I need like a 40 or a 45 MOA rail on top of that CZ.
Yeah.
And then
you're using G1 form with that, aren't you?
I don't know why. Does that make a difference?
It'll make it'll make a slight difference. Yeah.
No, I'm using G7. Let's go with G1.
Yeah.
Okay, compute. Yeah, it added a mil. Thanks.
Yeah. Well, okay. Do you want to blast a whole bunch into the dirt?
Well, here's my honest plan here was to shoot out to 200 and actually get it dialed in. So I knew, because let's be face it, the scope is too budget friendly to have repeatable turret travel where it actually matches up. What's that? Well, everybody on the internet said that it was for every 1 revolution you were gonna get 0.1.
Oh, you're off a 10th, right?
Off a 10th, right? So
okay.
So, and also not only that, but I'm using ballistics coefficient from the manufacturer that gave to the people at iSnipe to put into their calculator. So
yes,
the information from the source is suspect.
Yeah.
The only way to know for sure what my come ups are going to be is to take it out and actually shoot it and get my come ups, right? So,
yeah, for sure. All right, you want to get to the reason why we're having this fucking show in the first place?
Sure.
All right.
I got an email today from the CCFR. And I thought this was way too awesome to not share. So if you have any questions, by all means, go to the CCFR website, gundebate.ca or firearmsrights.com or something. Just say I'll find it for you.
Firearmrights.ca.
Yeah. The CCFR is the public relations and education branch of the Canadian firearms community, has not typically pursued litigation as a tool of changing legislation or steering public policy. As a result of this unprecedented attack on the freedom and liberty of Canadian sport shooters and hunters, that's changing. Please watch the video below for more information. Now, I could play the video, but you guys aren't going to hear it. So,
yeah.
So what it is Rod says that they've put together a crack legal team, and in their lawyers, and there's several of them are well renowned in Canada for filing charter challenges, and they think that we have an argument, like a solid argument. There's no guarantees we're going to win, but it's enough of a chance that it's worth fighting the fight. Sometimes you can't just fight the battles you can win. Sometimes you have to fight the battles that need fighting, right? And that's what I think legal action falls into as far as gun orgs go. Excellent point. I was going to get there, Dad. Thanks for spoiling the surprise.
Oh, quit it. Just deliver the message, you big wiener.
So go to the website, take a look at the write-up. It's a 5-minute video. It's worth the 5 minutes. Anytime Rod makes a video, it's worth the 5 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever it is for the video.
Very well articulated.
It is. And I don't know. I watched Rod back before he was a CCFR, before there was a CCFR. I watched him on his Civil Advantage YouTube channel. And I always thought, like, watching him, that, geez, that's the guy that we should have in charge of public relations, in this country for gun owners anyway. But my advice is this is going to cost huge. I would, if you told me that a charter challenge, and the CCFR says in the video that they are prepared to take this all the way to the Supreme Court of Canada. Now, a charter challenge like that is going to cost a minimum of probably $150,000 or so.
God,
it could go as high as $200,000 or $300,000. So,
and you look at all the tactics that the other party can use for stalling and all this bullshit, and fuck knows they're going to do that. Look what they've already done with some of the other things.
That's right.
Like the SNC Lavalin bit. It's just avoid.
Yeah.
And it'll be the same here too.
So I'm just going to say to everybody out there in podcast land or YouTube or Facebook or wherever you guys are, however you're getting us on your mobile or laptop or whatever, is if you can afford it, just go to the CCFR website, and if you're not already a member, become a member. And if you are a member, consider making a donation.
Start selling your ARs to fund it.
Yeah, that's right. But come on, guys, we gotta get behind our gun orgs when they do stuff like this. We have to get behind them. We have to back them up. We have to show them our support with our pocketbook, right? So it's important to do this kind of stuff, because without groups like the CCFR, the CCSA, or even the NFA, we have no voice at all on a federal government level.
Zero,
and that's all there is to it. So if we don't back them, they can't back us, right? So let's back them on this one. This is important. That's right.
That's key. Spread that information around out there.
Get the link from YouTube and paste it on your Facebook wall, or share it to your local hunters group. Email it to your club president, your local gun club. I know I'm the VP of the Regina Fish and Game League, and I can guarantee you at our next directors meeting, I'm going to make a motion that we donate a little bit more money to the CCFR. To date, our gun club has donated $17,000 to the CCFR on 3 different occasions, and
wow.
We've decided to start insuring our members via the CCFR. It was comparable in cost to using the third party we're using for our club members' hunting and sports shooting insurance. The difference is the CCFR insurance is about the same money, but it's also the first line of insurance as opposed to the second or third. Our other insurance, you were insured, but the insurance that the club bought for you didn't kick in unless your homeowner's policy didn't cover you for liability or whatever else like that, right?
Sure.
So, but the CCFR first is the first insurance that's going to come up and back you before your homeowner's policy kicks in, and it's $5 million liability through the CCFR.
Right.
$1 million liability. We also opted to go through the CCFR for our director's insurance and our club liability insurance on the range facility, and that's $5 million. So,
yeah.
And you know what? I don't think the CCFR makes any money from the insurance. They can't with premiums that low. There's no way in heck that they're gonna make any money on that. So.
Oh, no kidding. No, it's kind of an amazing thing that they do. Honest, at the risk of sounding like a fucking commercial.
Yeah.
But to offer this kind of stuff for what they charge for membership and the work that they do.
And that insurance is included with your membership, by the way. When you buy membership to the CCFR, you're automatically covered.
Yeah, like the base insurance here, I'm just reading it now. All members in good standing of the Canadian Coalition for Firearms Rights have $5 million third-party liability insurance written through Special Risk Insurance Managers Limited policy number, blah, blah, blah. Coverage is subject to usual policy terms, conditions, limitations, and exclusions. Coverage includes sanctioned activities of members with respect to all legal shooting, sports, and fishing activities, including at formal ranges and informal settings such as hunting and fishing. A $1,000 deductible applies to the claimant. This is a primary insurance.
So basically, if you're out hunting and you accidentally shoot Farmer Joe's steer or Bessie,
accidentally,
shame on you.
Yeah,
for starters. For a second, you just bought a cow for $1,000.
That's it. Which is about, well, I don't know what cattle prices are like now, but
you probably buy 2 for $1,000 otherwise. But I can guarantee you that farmer, that cow's going to worth 3 or $4 grand. It's going to be a prize-winning bull.
yeah. You betcha. Charlie Foxtrot, and the CFB St. Jean Shooting Club director, service weapon, CQB service rifle.
Yeah,
this is just basically killed our sector doing the CCFR funding campaign. Yeah, I know.
If he's from Saint Jean, I'm assuming that means he's probably in the Belle Provence, and if that's the case, he's probably trying to type in English, which would be hard for somebody that is not used to typing in English. But anyways, yeah, Charlie, I agree 100%. The first thing that went through my mind was that's it for service rifle. That's it. Like, it's as a sport, how do you have service rifle competitions if the service rifle substitute has been banned? I guess we go back to Enfields. Everybody has to have a full wheeled Enfield, and away they go. You know what? Might actually be cheaper than buying an AR.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It made me sick.
Yeah. Daniel has a decent point here. I feel that this ban is a startup to repeater rifles of all kinds. Well, fuck, no question in my mind.
The anti-gun groups and the Liberal Party of Canada have all said in the past, in not necessarily in the public sphere, like on live media or whatever else, but they've all been heard that there should be no guns in Canada. All guns should be banned. So
right, because we're gonna
just like the frog
utopia, right?
That's right. It's just like the frog in water, though, right? You
all
put
hugs and kisses
in water,
roses for everyone.
Right away. You put a frog in cold water and slowly turn up the temperature, and the frog just gets boiled to death because he doesn't realize what's going on. Well, they're dividing and conquering the firearms owners in this country by starting with the evil, scary assault rifles.
Yeah,
but and they're being disingenuous and dishonest with the public when they say those words, because they know they're not accurate, they know they're not true, but it's so unkind, John. Well, they're being disingenuous.
Do you remember what he said in 2015 when he did get elected? And that is fucking seared into my mind.
Yeah.
Welcome to postmodern Canada.
Yeah.
and you are seeing the fucking fallout from that. Just, oh my God, it cranks me up. I'm bending the handle on my press right now.
Yeah. That's why all my stuff's over there right now.
Yeah. Mikey freezing. If you say it loud enough and repeat it, people will believe it. Yeah. Thanks, Barbie.
So Trudeau's dad is Castro. Trudeau's dad is Castro.
Who gives a fuck who his dad is?
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
No, it doesn't. Fuck. It doesn't.
Yeah, we're not Americans where it matters where you were born to be prime minister.
Yeah. What a... Charlie again. I shot in England at Bisley for the CAF shooting team. I saw what civilian service rifle AR looked like. One-shot ARs. It was terrible.
I bet.
Yeah.
I bet.
Yeah.
So one thing that came out earlier this week, I guess I didn't hear about it till Monday or Tuesday. And that's the 12 and 10 gauge shotguns with removable choke tubes are now effectively banned. This was brought up. So I saw a video on a CPAC.
Okay,
Bill Blair said,
has there been any rebuttal to that at all?
Bill Blair said on CPAC when he was asked about it from a member in BC or Alberta or somewhere, I can't remember who it was now. Said,
sorry, I've been gone all day. I'm not.
That's no problem. He said it's not. We did not prohibit 12 and 10 gauge shotguns because, as you know, 12 gauge bore is 19.1 millimeters, and a 10 gauge bore is 19.6 millimeters. And then the rebuttal to that response was, yes, but it is. We have several legal opinions that state shotguns with removable choke tubes will be measured with the choke tubes removed as per the CFC guidelines, and that makes them 20.1 and 20.4 millimeters. So
you know, I was thinking about this kind of shit. I did a bunch of cutting and welding today out at the farm, and when you're in behind that little window, you kind of
you can only stare at that puddle so long, and your mind starts to drift, right?
For sure, man. And I'm thinking, so a buddy of mine texted me earlier today and asked me, you know, if I had anything affected by the ban and all that kind of stuff, and he's a cowboy action shooter. That's what he loves. That's about the only thing that he does. And he said the ban ruined his chances of getting a 3-inch cannon. So now that
true.
got me thinking, what about all these old black powder guys?
Yeah, well, anybody that's got a bore diameter of larger than 20 millimeters.
What a horseshit fucking deal that is.
20 millimeters. Let's just see here. What's 20 mil when you convert that to a caliber, to a calibracy? Let's turn on the calipers. Let's zero them out. Let's switch to metric, and let's go all. Because this is way more fun. And
are you familiar with these, John?
No.
Luke sent me a message, messenger, Facebook Messenger message.
So I got it set to exactly 20.
Okay, well, fuck me then.
Holy shit, hey?
Yeah, okay.
Go to inches. That's 787.
Yeah.
That's a big ass fucking bullet. What's gonna? I don't know. Is there anything in that over that 775? I know that there's a 775 out there, out in the wild. But
I guess. Mils, hey, sorry, I never gave that much thought.
But 20 mils are like in that anti-aircraft gun caliber range, if that makes any sense.
Yep.
Like your 20 and your 25 mil Bradleys, like the ones they put on those little APCs in the US, those 25 mil Bushmasters that are on them, stuff like that. And I'm not going to say no one needs one of those for shooting deer, because fuck, I'd love to shoot a deer with one, but or an elephant for that matter. But there is but there is a 775 bolt action rifle. I saw some pictures of it. The guy shooting it on the interwebs, and that actually looks like a hell of a lot of fun. But he had, I think it was 4 or 6 sets of rings to hold the scope on the top of the action. So that That kind of gives you some indication of how much recoil there is there.
What kind of man is sitting in behind that steel plate, that steel butt plate?
Yeah. Well, all I remember seeing is that it looked like there was about 18 gills on that brake. That's about all I can tell you for sure. But it just it makes you scratch your head. Like, why would they? Well, I guess I understand that they feel that firearm projectiles of a certain size are, I don't know, the whole gun debate, the whole gun banning logic just absolutely escapes me. Like,
I know
they want to get rid of my poodle shooter, but they have no problem with my 742 and 30-06, which is arguably 10 times more deadly, right? Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever.
In the hands of the right person. Like,
well, that's just it, right?
Christ. Let's get to some of these questions and comments here. There's some good ones coming across. Corey Rutan, thanks for coming on, Corey. I haven't seen you here before. I know who he is, by the way. I would not trust anything that Billy Club Blair has to say. No court will ever look at Twitter or Facebook for legal advice. This is very true. But if we have a half a brain,
no, I wouldn't say that. They wouldn't look at there for legal advice, but they will look there for evidence.
Evidence, for sure.
So we really have to mind our P's and Q's. But anyways, go on.
But the thing is, there's enough. If we have a half a brain on the fucking bench, all the tripe that guy spews, the misinformation and everything else, and that thing, same as what I was.
That's all, folks. Yeah.
And you notice his face turns beet fucking red every time he lies. And
which is all the time. I've never seen him without a red face.
Oh my God. I was listening. My dad sent me a text. What the hell was it? Monday morning. I think he listens to CBC a lot. He's an old farmer. Can't blame him, I guess. But they were talking about this gun ban and everything on there, and it was just ridiculous, some of the shit that was coming across there. That if you get checked all the time, well, you must have more than 25 guns. And this is Wendy Kukier, or however the hell you say your name. Yeah, well, you must have more than 25 guns then. And it surprised the living shit out of me. The interviewer, the CBC guy, said, no, as a matter of fact, if it's over 10, then you get...
No. That's for them to come look at your storage at home.
That's what they were getting at.
Okay.
That's what they were getting at. Sorry.
Okay.
So...
Yeah,
it's just, a person in her position and having fought this fucking thing on her side for over 25 years, you'd think she'd know. But no, that doesn't matter. Well, because this is what we're feeding the general public.
Know. I think she does know. She
probably
just doesn't like those facts, so she ignores them.
Well,
or misrepresents them. And unfortunately,
I reject your reality and insert my own.
That's right. And unfortunately, it seems like that's like a prerequisite to be an anti-gun person, to be uninformed, ignorant, and a liar.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Well, that's what the rest of the herd does. That's what the rest of the herd reinforces and endorses.
That's right.
So, Doug Rodenbush, until they change the OIC, it matters not what, I'm assuming that's Bill Blair, has to say. The only legal opinion that matters is the judge as well. Now we see a lot of what's going on with judges and the sentences, the punishments they're giving for criminals, repeat criminals, fucking people that have had multiple firearms offenses getting put back out on the street again. There you go. Oh, here's a paltry fucking bail requirement, and away you go.
Yeah, we don't need cognizance after your fifth gun charge, and you already have a lifetime firearms prohibition. You're just arrested with a gun. So,
I'm sure he'll be okay
because it's too dangerous for you to be in jail because of COVID. So we're going to let you out on your own recognizance.
Not only that, it's this whole movement toward we have too many people in prisons.
Yeah,
and
we
got to do our best not to put more people in prison. So So you let bad cunts out on the fucking street again?
Here's one thing that that kind of alarmed me. There's 2.2 million gun owners on run through CPIC every single day, and there's 400,000 firearms or people with firearms prohibitions in this country. Why aren't we running them through CPIC every day? Why aren't we knocking on door and doing home inspections on them? No, we're gonna
because you're not part of that club.
That's right. It's their civil rights, but not ours, apparently.
Charlie again. Question: 10,000 joules. Am I correct if I say 375 shy tack and above? Well, that's
if it's above.
There's 10, more to it than that.
Is there?
Well, sure. I mean,
they named the 50
mass times velocity square is your kinetic energy, right?
Yeah, but Sammy for 375 is 10,500.
Okay, but he's talking about anything 375 shy tack and above. Now, in terms of what? Bore diameter, cartridge.
Well, I know that there's a few double rifles, like African game rifles, that have been caught up in this 10,000 joule thing. So if they are, I would imagine the C375 CT is as well. So
you know what? He goes on to say, are they going to ban ammunition components? Components, they'd have a hell of a hard time because you can get big bore rifles that are lesser energy, right?
Yeah, I think the only thing they could do is ammunition. I don't think they can do components. Ammunition, because the ammunition in that cartridge is loaded to more than 10,000 joules out of a X-inch barrel, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Look at this. This goes back a little bit, but you just described the whole Liberal Party. What was it? The C word?
Maybe.
Oh, by the way, I expected congratulations. I think that's my first one on this podcast.
Oh,
yeah.
Well,
yeah.
My hat's off, sir.
Welcome to the club.
You've just joined a very exclusive club, I'll tell you right now.
Matt Shirley, the FBI definition of assault rifle says must have selective fire option, including burst or. Matt, come on, it's not or and. What do you have?
It's and or. Jesus.
Is he Ukrainian? Surely he's not Ukrainian. I don't know, but anyway.
Surely you can't be serious.
Must have select fire option, including burst and or full auto capability. We don't have that in Canada. Well, that's been
we
one of the
do, but it's limited to police and army and military. But yeah,
well, true. But that's been
it's not legal for us mere citizens to own.
Yeah, that's been one of the prime arguments for so bloody long. But as you can tell, over the past 25 years, probably even longer, that I guess those precise words do not get into those people's heads. I don't know. It's just completely. It's like water off a duck's fucking back.
Yeah.
Oh, we've never had those, or haven't had those for a long, long time.
We haven't had those since the 70s.
Right.
And I'm not sure you would have been able to import a full auto M16, I guess would have been at the time in the 70s when full autos were a legal thing.
How many were there back then, do you think? Not bloody many.
No, here's the thing. Like if you go back in the Wayback Machine, AR-15s were covered by a patent that was held by Colt.
Sure.
No, held by Armalite and licensed by Colt or whatever. It was a patent that covered it until 1977.
Yeah.
So you had to buy a real deal one from either Colt or that's it until 77. After 1977, they became open market, open source, whatever you want to call it, which means the 50-year patent ran out. Not 50-year.
Yeah.
Or the patent ran out in 77. So the full auto ban in Canada, which happened in the 70s under Trudeau Sr., I believe, that all happened before the M16 would have been legal in Canada. So I don't think the M16s were ever legal in Canada. Irish and Scottish, you dicks. No, I disagree.
Matt Shirley. I'm Irish and Scottish, you dicks. Yeah, well, I'm English, Irish, Scottish, and some sort of Scandinavian. There's probably
I don't
a
know
lot
what
of
the hell I
rape
am.
involved there. Yeah,
I'm definitely a Heinz 57. I'll put it that way.
So I'm interested in this, Scott. Scott, Scott. One of these days, you and I are going to have to talk audibly, and tell me how to pronounce your effing name. Chai Cool. I'm going to say Chai Cool just because it sounds cool.
Chai Cool.
Shaka Khan. I got my ass handed to me for that definition, despite assault being a verb. Yeah, well, when you stop, when you talk,
AR does not stand for assault rifle. Let's just be clear. Oh my goodness,
Matt. I think that's Rooster's first dip on a cast. No, Matt, it ain't. Watching closely enough. Here we go. Doug Rodenbush again. Hey. The ban on full auto came in 1977. They were already rare then. Absolutely.
Well, they were still covered by the original patent, right? So, and that's the reason why they were so rare. I believe it was 1977 or maybe 1979 or something like that. I'd actually have to go back and look.
I'd have a hard time really contesting Doug on that shit.
I agree. He's probably right. Yeah. He was. I was still shitting my pants in 1977. So,
well, in 1977,
I shit my pants last week. So,
Doug was already collecting pension, wasn't he? In 1977,
I'm sure he was. Oh, he's probably just coming out of Fort Mac and bought himself a nice reliable Chevrolet.
Right. Or what were those cars?
A Chevette, that is.
Well, yeah. What the hell was it? A Gremlin with that fishbowl back window?
There we go.
Doug riding high in that thing, locks blowing out the window.
That's right.
1986 was the last year you could buy in the U.S. Yeah, I don't.
Well, no, now that's not true. You can still.
I thought that was in early 90s.
No, 86
when they came out with that.
No, the anything. You could no longer buy. In 1986, they passed a law that said no new full autos on the civilian market. So, in 1986 was the last year that you could, as a manufacturer, manufacture a fully automatic firearm for sale to the civilian market in the United States. So, and that's why full autos are worth so much money in the U.S. is because as more people become eligible to purchase them, there's a finite amount of them on the market. Now, there's a loophole that gets you through that, and that is to become a manufacturer, or I get an FFL, a federal firearms license in the U.S. to become a manufacturer.
Right.
And as a manufacturer, you can make whatever the hell you want. And if you make it, and you can keep it in your possession, and you can still take it out and shoot it and all that kind of stuff like that.
Is that right?
So that's why a lot of guys are getting FFLs in the States. It's not just for gun show guys anymore, right? So
we have some clarification.
Oh,
Scott, he says Mitchell with a C. So it's Chitchell. You know what? I like my Chai Cool better.
I think it's way better to say Chikul.
I think it is too, yeah.
Chikul. Chikul. It just needs an E on the end, so I'm going to say Chikuli.
Doug comes. Yeah, Gremlin X. That's the one. Fishbowl.
Good job, Doug. Good job.
Dodge Omni. Same shit, wasn't it?
Hey, I had one of those, Luke. That was a really shitty fucking car.
Okay. So here's this. Let's talk about this a little bit. And it may be a little bit controversial.
Mike Hynek says in 1986 it was the Hughes Amendment in the States. So there we go. I was right. I was right on one date, 86. Anyways, wish it was First Nations. That would be the subsistence hunting clause in the.
So this has come up a lot since Friday, and I think people are ignoring a little bit that they are also directed to, how do I say, phase out of those?
Acquire another firearm ASAP.
Right. Now,
until they do, they can continue to use whatever the heck it is they're using.
So the only difference there is, are they bound by that 2-year amnesty? Or
they are. Yeah. After
when you get around to it.
Yeah, when the 2-year amnesty is up, they can no longer possess them either.
Right. So let's drop the whole. I know it's emotionally charged and all that kind of stuff. Well, why do Indians get to do this and all this kind of stuff? Forget about it. It does that good anyway to bitch and vote.
The only reason that's in there is because there's another article in something else that says that they have to be allowed to given enough notice to phase out of whatever else, and that's the only reason it's there. It's let's be honest. I don't know how many of these prohibited firearms that were non-restricted that are now prohibited are actually being used by First Nations subsistence hunters.
Like 3 First Nations people with ARs in Nunavut, and
they couldn't
probably
hunt with those
5 in Northwest Territories.
I think it'd be probably a lot more than that. But
do you think so?
But they couldn't hunt with them in the first place. So they're talking about the AR-10s. They're talking about the 858s. They're talking about the Swiss arms. They're talking about the 50s, right? They're not talking about the AR-15s, right? And AR-10s have only been on. No, they're not, because AR-15s are always restricted and you couldn't hunt with them. So they always have been restricted since the mid 90s anyway. Before that, they could. Before the laws were passed in the 90s, they could. But this, I think it was Article 34 of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, is the one that's referencing First Nation subsistence hunting. That article did not exist, or maybe it did exist. I'm not sure now. When that was before 94, 95, 92, whatever that was, they passed. 92, I think, is when C-68, or was it 94? Oh man, my mind is just gone.
Oh, you're terrible. You're horrible. I don't even know you're on this show.
Yeah, I didn't even make show notes. This was my idea.
You know what, John? All this shit coming off the top of that bald brain of yours is pretty impressive. You know,
the reason I'm not sweating, and that's because it's burning off so fast, because my mind is spinning at such a ferocious velocity.
Well, you're I was gonna say your chick's already hatched, so you don't need that heat lamp above.
That's right. That's right. Well, that actually makes it so you can actually see my face. I can turn it off if you'd like.
It don't matter to me. I know what you look like.
Now I look like I'm in Sean's bedroom or something. No.
Yeah, right. Hey. Yeah, turn it on. Bill Benoit. How are the CDX KDX rifles and problems? No idea.
Well, there's actually a couple of KDX rifles that were listed in the ban as well.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Well, KDX makes a 50. The KDX Tremor, it's done.
Yeah.
There's another KDX that they listed as well. I can't remember which one it was.
What the hell could that be?
Probably a 416.
Do they make a 416? Yeah.
They do make a 416 Barrett, I think.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, KDX is not KDX, PGW Defense. Who makes them for the CF, isn't it? Or who makes the CF rifles?
Yeah, PGW.
PGW. It's not KDX, it's PGW.
The Coyote and the Timberwolf.
That's right.
Yeah. What else have we got here? Daniel Crossland again. Heard something today relating to some RCMP detachments are enforcing their members to turn in immediately. Have you guys heard this? No, I haven't heard of it. John, you?
I have not heard anything about that, but I've been suspiciously absent from all social medias. I just know that I can't handle the peoples right now and their questions and stuff. But anyways, I'm having enough problems with this on my own to not worry about other people's. And Sean says, "Boys, I passed out." Well, get the fuck online, you lazy cunt.
Right. You came on.
You made me say it now too.
But you said it with a lot of love, unlike what I did.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. Jens, I'm not sure I can decipher this. If we take them to court now, are we going to get 10.5 million because they could lose the case? I think he's referring to the terrorist that we got 10.5 million gifted to.
Oh, wouldn't that be nice? They just violated my Charter of Rights and Freedoms. They owe me for mental anguish and lost sleep. And not to mention the loss of business. I require at least $52,627.13 for reasons.
Agreed. Man, I'm telling you, you never want to dismiss this German guy. Mr. Gurky. He's a smart cookie, that
Is
boy.
his name Gurky? Like the fish?
I believe so.
Gurka?
I believe so. But you got to say it with a German accent.
Like that?
Whoa, that's just no. That's
not quite.
That
actually sounded like a swear
That's
word,
Eastern Bloc.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Doug, 5 S's, Sean. Oh yeah, Charlie says Cadex makes an AR lower that is on the list. I was unaware
I didn't realize they made an AR, but yeah, that's well, you know what? Everybody else in the fucking world does. They might as well too.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know what? That market was thriving in Canada.
Well, it was really starting to boost. I heard a lot of numbers in that 80K range.
Yeah, 83,000 or something.
I've heard numbers as high as 117,000, and I'm not sure where those numbers are coming from.
Yeah.
Well,
I know I had numbers in their origins. Like, you go to Stats Canada.
Yeah.
And all the fucking shit is there.
Yeah.
And I guess, people on the other side of the fence just completely ignore that. But yet people on our side of the fence don't bother to go fucking look it up either.
Yep.
And our politicians, like Stats Canada, all the shit is right there.
The people that you pay a very good salary to have compiled this information for your easy digestion.
Right. Why doesn't that come up in Parliament?
Yeah. My wife made a point today. She said, she says, I don't like, my wife's not as gun crazy as we are. I'll put it mildly. She understands. My wife had a very good point today, and she's not as gun crazy as we are. She's a regular person. I'll say that. It's a normal person in Canada. She doesn't own firearms. Well, she technically does, but she doesn't because I'm licensed and she isn't. Anyways, she said this pissed her off, not because of the financial hardship that it put on me or us, as it were,
right?
And not because they did it, but because of how they did it.
The principle
and because of
the
when
method.
she did. It's not the fact that it happened. It's the fact of how they did it, when they did it. And she said stuff like this, where it's going to cost billions and billions of dollars for a paperwork change, stuff like this shouldn't be going through OICs. They should have a referendum.
That's what I mean by
the
method,
and vote.
John. Yeah,
and vote.
Absolutely.
Like have an actual democratic process.
Well,
have open debate for 6 months or 3 months or 6 weeks, and have everybody that cares enough to vote go to the polls and vote.
Oh no, you know fucking well why they didn't do it. First of all,
they would have lost that when 80% would have said, "Leave my fucking guns alone."
Right.
And the funny thing is you have like your rabid anti-guns on one side of the spectrum, and I'm not sure what spectrum that might be, but just say one side of the spectrum. If your anti-gunners over here, and then you have your pro-gunners over here, and they're never going to agree. Like they just never are. Yeah. And it's probably of the people involved in the debate, you've got 2% that are vehemently anti-gun, and you got 2% that are militantly pro-gun, and then you have your fringe peoples that are more than happy to listen to the 2%ers right on either end, and go, those guys are right.
That covers
those guys are wrong, right?
Right.
But then you've got that 65 to 70% of the population that's break bang in the middle that doesn't know shit from a shinola. And they're the ones who also get a voice and also get a vote. And when it comes to stuff like this, they could just really give a shit. They don't hate us as people, but they don't hate guns, but they don't like guns. They don't understand guns because they've never held or used, or they don't know anybody, or and that's one of the things that I think we really, as gun owners, I know myself specifically, it's only been the last 2 years I've been openly pro-gun. I would be pro-gun amongst friends. I would be pro-gun around co-workers after I'd known them for several years and knew they weren't nut bars the other way, right? Yeah. I could tell them, hey, I like guns, right? Or before it used to be, I hunt, because where I live, hunting is an acceptable pastime, but shooting 3-gun maybe isn't, right? So I was a hunter. I wasn't a sports shooter. I wasn't a gun owner. I wasn't a gun crazy lunatic. And it isn't until I actually got to know you fairly well that I would actually come out of the closet, as it were, as a gun owner to you on an individual basis. But over the last couple of years, I've kind of put myself out there more and more and more and more. And I remember it was about 2 years ago, I put a pro gun sticker on the back of my truck. And I was parked at a buddy's place, and his mom was there. And I've known this woman since I was in like grade 5, right? And she goes, well, what kind of gun is that? And I said, well, it's a picture of an M14. She goes, isn't that an assault rifle? And I said, well, I don't think so. And she goes, well, isn't it a military firearm? I says, well, the real M14 is, but I said, those have never been legal in Canada. So
never.
It's like, it's not even a thing. It's semi-automatic only. Oh, well, I think that's an assault rifle. And I was shocked because I grew up thinking that this was a fairly well-reasoned, somebody with a clear head and a clear mind, and somebody I actually looked up to as a person, as someone to try and be more like this person because they're a really good person. Sure. And it completely blew my perception of that individual. And this is somebody I'd known for over 30 years. And it just completely blew my mind that this person could be so narrow-minded, like so intelligent, so well-educated, and such a great person, a great human being. Like, literally, this is the type of person that would literally give the shirt off their back.
For sure.
But I was like, well, you're well-read. Mm-hmm. You're educated. I know that you're intelligent. I've seen the library in your house, right? I know that you're intelligent. How can you say something so fucking stupid? Sean, you lazy son of a bitch.
Hey guys.
See, John, this is where you and I differ. You kind of dip the toe in the pool. Yeah. And like, I'm an observer too.
Yeah.
But where you and I differ is I'm black and white. I am the shit sandwich guy. If it's a shit sandwich, we take a fucking bite and we figure out how we're not going to do it again. Yeah. This is me. And I don't know any other way. This is me. And if you don't like it, perfect. That's fine.
Yeah.
Because you have that right to disagree with me or whatever.
Yep.
Now, however, you need to take a step fucking back. Because I'm still going to do my thing. And I give a fuck what you think or want from me, because as soon as we cross wires in whatever sort of way, if you're going to cross wires with me, you fuck off now, because I don't have time for you. And it's there's no sense tiptoeing around any of that shit, at least for me anyways. Get it out there, throw your cards down, and if they match up, great. We can have conversations in that. If you're going to stand for something that, against me for stupid reasons, you're going to fucking hear about it.
Yeah.
Twice, maybe.
Maybe even more than that.
Maybe. Sean, how you doing, buddy?
53 minutes late, but better late than never.
Fuck. He's all right. He's allowed that.
It was my turn, and I passed out, and I didn't realize I'd sleep for 4 or 5 hours, whatever. But
a fella every once in a while needs to curl up on the windowsill and just start purring and bask in the sunlight and fall asleep, right?
Yeah, and I figured,
or is it only me that does that?
No, it's just you, I think.
I was curled up like a fucking ball in bed, passing out, dreaming about fucking guns and Trudeau taking my shit.
Here's a beauty right here. Yeah. Spudman 76. It's more than a shit sandwich. They added corn this time. Fucking rights, it's scraping coming out.
It's funny, but my favorite line of every movie of all time, by hands down, bar none, is I'd eat the peanuts out of her shit.
Yeah, the corn out of her shit or whatever.
It was peanuts.
Somewhere,
it was peanuts.
Somewhere, some guy is sick of her shit.
That's right. That's right.
Wires are one thing.
What I miss? Go back and watch the live stream, you son of a bitch.
That's right.
We talked about stuff.
Yeah, lots of stuff.
Report your orgs. They're going to war.
Who?
Yep.
The orgs.
The orgs? With each other?
Yeah, all of them.
Really?
Yeah, they're all
what do
working
you mean?
together.
Oh, I thought you meant like against each other. And I was like, what?
No.
I thought we were doing well.
No, we're going to war. We're going to court. So
yeah, I mentioned that already. I read the press release from the CCFR that I got via email. But is there any more light you can shed on that whole situation or no?
Well, it's a charter right claim, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, no.
Okay.
Well,
support again. If you guys are having trouble trying to support or trying to scrounge up $40 or whatever to support an org, let us know. We'll find a way to help you out. I know I helped out a buddy of mine a little while ago, actually yesterday, from Ontario, try and get on. He came back after a long hiatus. So same thing. If you guys are looking to get on board, let us know and we'll scrounge the pit.
We'll throw a hand out there for sure. You bet.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, Sean, how can I find out when my membership expires? Because I went to the CCFR website to renew early, and it wouldn't give me that option.
Well, the portal, because the portal's like they're revamping the portal.
Okay.
So contact info@firearmrights.ca. Keep in mind they're short staffed for COVID right now, so it might take a little while to get back to you.
So they're down from 3 to 2 or what?
Well, yeah. Well, no, but like you underestimate how much work those 3 people had.
Well, no, I 100% agree.
Yeah.
And then, they probably could get by with 5 or 6 people, but we don't want to pay them. We want to pay.
We're just not that big right now, right? But info@firearmrights.ca or contact your local regional field officer, coordinator, or director, or shit and corruption.
I just did.
Yeah. Well, then
hey there.
Just fucking renew. Like, if honestly, if you've got the cash, it'll just start your date over again a year, right? And considering the firearm rights stuff, or the not firearm rights stuff, the insurance, firearm membership insurance, I don't think you had that. So
I had the insurance package for like $100 a year.
Oh, then wait until you're like done. But then email info@firearmrights.ca, because if you renew now, they're just going to restart that clock. Mm-hmm. And considering we don't have that supplier anymore,
I thought my membership expired in April, but I didn't get an email, so I wasn't sure.
Oh, a lot of people don't. Email Scuba Steve, info@firearmrights.ca. He'll get back to you.
Yeah, Luke just said here on the feed that I just sent it to Steve. Robert, want to donate, but don't do PayPal or use credit card online. How do I go about donating?
You pull out your checkbook, write a check, and drop it in the mail.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Or get somebody else, get a buddy with a credit card if he wants to do that. Send him an EMT or hand him cash.
Yeah.
There's
the CCFR doesn't do EMTs, do they?
I don't believe they do.
No, I don't believe so. Well, actually, yeah, they do. The field officers do. If you know a field officer, contact us.
Guy on the bottom of the screen. Yep. Yeah, and you guys can always message us for sure. We'll steer you.
Yeah.
Ross has a good point here. He says the CCFR action group on Facebook, spanning the libs and spreading the word. That's a good point too. If you have, Rod was putting out a call for volunteers. If you're a member of the CCFR and in the CCFR Facebook group, and you can spare a couple hours a week to donate towards fighting for your gun rights, send a message. Not sure. You'd have to probably find the video on the Facebook group in order to find out exactly what he's looking for. But yeah.
Or email volunteer@firearmrights.ca.
There we go.
That goes right to Dick Bone, greatest name in existence.
Dick Bone.
Yeah, and then he'll
is that this famous Bone is not alone recipient of the okay?
Yep, that's the same guy.
Glad to hear he's still with us.
Oh yeah, he's not going anywhere. He's like Dougie, he's a lifer. So however long that may be. Just kidding.
Hey, I want to take this opportunity to clear something up. Luke and I were talking. Luke is Luke's got to be our most our most faithful listener here.
Absolutely.
Luke told me this story that when he was born, he didn't really figure it out until he was 22 years old. He said he's French.
Well, that explains everything.
And I said, so I should be spelling it with a C, right? And he says, absolutely correct. Luc. Luc Godin.
Luc Godin. You like the American baguette bread?
Tabernacle. Oh, Luke, I love you, asshole. There it is.
Yeah. Bromance, a long distance bromance, eh?
You betcha.
Good deal.
So, Luke, there, I bought 2 student memberships last summer, and that's what we should be doing. Getting these young people started. My girlfriend's son, 19-year-old son, I took him out shooting for the first time in his life about 3-4 weeks ago, and I'm getting him signed up as well. I don't care where it comes from, whether it's from his piggy bank or mine. I don't give a fuck. We need that support. We need those numbers. We need that money to help fight this shit. So he's going to spread it around to his buddies as well. I mean, 19 years old, you can't really expect a whole lot, but some of them will latch onto this. You got to get it out there.
That's right. They're never going to be a hunter or a shooter if you don't take them to the range.
Amen, brother. Jesus.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't have to be you don't have to be a field officer to help.
Nope, you don't, for sure.
You're not going to proliferate our sport if you don't proliferate interest in it in our younger generation or people coming up.
Yeah.
Whether your nieces, nephews, your coworkers, kids, your coworkers for that matter, you gotta not push, but you gotta be there.
Well, listen, information is power, man.
That's right. Well, and here's the thing, and this is going to sound kooky as hell, but it's just like what my parents' generations believed a good Christian was somebody who just lived their life the way they did and be a witness for the Lord in their lifestyle and in their actions. And when people ask questions, you answer them, and you answer them honestly, and you do what you can to help them out and bring them along in that mindset or that passion or that hobby. And it's no different than if you're in a quilting bee or an RC club or a gun club or anything else like that, right? It's the
Star Trek fan club.
That's right. It's the members who've been there forever, who've been there for a long time and know the score. Those are the ones, that are the backbone of our entire culture. Are those people? Yeah. In my opinion.
Look at this, Robert. Doug Rodenbush would like to donate $1,000. Deal. Robert, you go collect though. Francois, good to have you here again, buddy. American Association isn't strong without the 8 million people. Well, you know what? That's unfortunately we don't have that strength. But no, yeah, the sentiment is the same.
If we had 50% of gun owners in Canada join a firearm, not one in particular, but any one of them, we would be a force to be reckoned with on Capitol Hill. Yes, and that is the biggest problem with firearms owners in Canada. Is for the most part, we're a lot of gun owners in Canada are like I was. Yeah. They're closet gun owners. They don't tell their coworkers. They don't tell their extended family. They keep it secret because they're kind of embarrassed. They don't want to be lumped in with those guys that are crazy assholes, right? The crazies that do stupid stuff and mass murders and stuff, right?
Oh, here we go. Robert.
I went to.
He wants to donate that.
Oh,
not telling Doug to donate $1,000. Listen, Robert, if you donated $1,000, go be a life member. Buy a life membership.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then donate the extra $200 because I think a life membership is $800.
$650.
Yeah. So no, if you want to donate that, email that the show or info@firearmrights.ca. We'll get you squared away. Right. So or info@gunningaround.com, whatever. I don't care. I'll do it, or I'll message you after the show.
Thanks, Rob. You're the man.
He is the man. And he was probably here on time. So
Yeah, so he's already like 3 steps above you, Sean.
man, so that's not that fucking hard.
Robert, if you donate $1,000, we'll have you on for a guest on the show. How does that sound?
That's right.
Damn straight.
Fucking rights, and we'll give you a fucking sticker too. God damn it!
And John will give you a handy.
I was just gonna say that.
I mean, I'll eat the peanuts out of his shit.
Yeah, I'm just looking at membership
No
levels
homo.
here right now. For individual is $40. Lifetime is $1,000.
Okay.
Senior is $25. Life senior is $650.
Okay, I missed the
And
senior
student
part.
is $20. Yeah, fucking A, Rob.
They don't have family memberships on the list anymore. Hey,
No, I think it's just coverage for insurance is where the family bit comes in.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, for sure. Did they have actual family memberships before? Or
Yeah,
or
they did.
They did. Hey,
I
okay.
wasn't here on time, but I got here earlier than you, Sean.
Oh well. So
Yeah,
31 years old. Hey.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. I've got 3 CCFR membership cards here, all with my name and all with different numbers on them. Because
Funny.
there's no renew button. I don't know. Anyways,
Yeah. Oh yeah, Robert. Okay.
Yeah, we'll email you, Rob. We don't want to post it on the show. So
No, that's true. Sorry, Sean. Thank you very
That's okay.
much for that. Yep. Thanks
Somebody's
for having
gonna
my
check
back.
it
That's what we do, hey? Okay.
cool. Do you guys have any other questions? Anything you want me to clear up? You two? Scoundrel?
we're still on for tomorrow morning, Sean, or what?
Oh yeah, bright and early.
I tell you, I found a guy to come by and give us a look for a backhoe.
Sweet. Down the road, you said.
Yeah, 1.5 miles south of the range. So
Cool. And then
that'll be awesome.
get those
What do you
berms set, and I'll be working from the range too. So old man Krager will be there. So
Was that
my
Kurt?
dad's coming too.
Just wondering what you guys are doing down there. Like I said, I've been gone all day and I haven't paid attention.
Well,
to my
here's
phone at all.
common sense for you, Kurt. So
Okay.
for how long has the Fish and Game League been open, John?
Since 1954.
Okay.
62, they got that plot of land.
Literally double the time I've been alive. Okay.
Yeah.
And in that time, I don't think we've had a single round leave the firing line
Mm-hmm.
in the direction they want us to build a berm.
Okay, yeah, I'll agree with that statement. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we can't just build a berm. We don't have cash, right? Well, we have some cash, but not
Well,
enough.
who has $300,000 sitting around to make 1,200 feet of berm, 12 and a half or 13 and a half feet tall?
Yeah.
Yes, go on.
So the CFO has mandated us that we put a berm along, I don't know if you've been to the club, but along the fence line, along the road.
Okay.
Essentially, to kind of keep those potential shots in the range, right?
Hasn't this been a like kind of a progressive butt fuck for you guys in that range?
Over the last 12 years, I think the club has spent $180,000 to $200,000 trying to make the CFO happy.
Yeah.
At range approval after range approval, they find something else that we need to change. Anyways,
yeah. And so this is where the you know, and I know the current CFO as well, and I know he's just following his orders essentially, but this is where common sense practices come into play, because John got together with his range improvements committee and found out a solution. You know how impervious flax straw is, Kurt.
Yep.
So we managed to score a bunch of 4x8 large square bales, and we're building a temporary berm along the tree line.
Yeah.
But now we have to oversee having these guys deliver them, and then, you know, being a master learning facilitator for the CCFR Range Safety Officer Program.
You're right.
Somebody needs to be there to shut the line down if they show up with a truck of however many bales and blah, blah, blah.
Sure,
And they gotta unload them.
Pretty standard stuff.
Yeah. So we're doing that. And then flax straw is essentially impervious. And so over time, when we get more cash or when we decide to do it again, we're actually going to bury that berm that we're going to build as well. So imagine a berm built out of flax bales.
Yep.
4, 6, 8, I think high, John.
it's going to be it's going to be a layer of 4, a layer of 3, a layer of 2, a layer of 1. So it'll be 16 feet tall.
And then we'll just bury that, and then with pea gravel or whatever
Dirt. We're just going to mine dirt from the hill, I think.
Yeah. So that'll work. But now volunteers like me have to be there, and John and whoever.
Well, problem number one is we have a wall like this that's going to be squared on the edge going into a hill, right?
Yeah.
So when you get that wall to the hill and it's at an angle like this, there's a spot here where we have to fill it in somehow. So the easiest way to fill that in is to cut back the hill, move the flax bales in closer, and then use the dirt you poked out of the bottom to fill in that hole at the top so that the hill, and the hill is 32 meters tall. Like that's how big the hill, our backstop is a natural formation of dirt that is 32 meters tall.
Fucking meters.
Well, I think it's 32 meters, but it might be 28. I don't know. Anyways, it's a real one. I'll put it that way. So we have to tie that in somehow, and then that wall has to be problem number one. We have to right now we have these great big wooden structures with pea gravel or tires, depending on what state of repair they're in. We have one at 100 and one at 25 that need to be torn completely apart and rebuilt because, well, people shoot them all day, every day, so they get riddled with holes, right?
Yeah.
So they're a wearable item. Unfortunately, it costs the club about $15,000 to $20,000 to rebuild one of these units if we pay a contractor. So what we're planning on doing with the berms is we're going to have enough bales this spring that we can fill in from the hill, from the 215, 220 yard where the hill is, all the way to the 100-yard backer. If we do that, we no longer need to have the backer at 100. We don't have to rebuild it. We can just tear it out of there and put up our target stands, right? Now, the other bonus is we're fairly close to the municipal road on the one side. And the CFO has stated that if we want to have steel targets to shoot at, they have to be shrouded because when a bullet hits a steel plate, there has to be a safe zone of 250 meters around it, like up
250 meters.
That's right, because spatter could go 250 meters. Now, one of the bigger problems we've had at the 100-yard backer, where we do have some steel gongs hung, is that the spatter coming off does tend to chew away at the structural supports holding the roof to keep the pea stone that's inside there dry in the wintertime so it doesn't freeze into a hard ball and it turn into a ricochet hazard shooting your bullets straight up. So one way around that is if we build this berm wall with the flax bale, well, now the flax bales act as our shrouding, and we can now have steel plates on the range floor without being shrouded. So, which means we can also take out the 100-yard backer. Another problem is that in the past, the backer boards we're shooting into have been about 2.5 feet off the ground, which means that from our 3-foot bench, if you're shooting at the center of a target 3 feet off the ground, because your gun is, the bench is 3 feet, but your gun is about 6 or 8 inches above that 3-foot bench. So you're shooting at a little bit of a downward angle, and there is a chance that the bullet goes through the target backer, and if there was nothing to catch the bullets behind it, could skip off the range floor, and then you get a ricochet over top of our 30-meter hill.
Yeah.
So by raising the backer boards up a foot, you're shooting at a level plane into the hill. So it's not going to be a problem.
Around goes into the range safety guidelines at any given federally mandated range, right?
Yeah. And then top it all off, this last year, our range approval was up for renewal in the fall, and the CFO made us put in an alarm system at the range. So basically, we switched from being just a range to actually having a firearms business license because it was the same cost for the license, and it was the same requirements because they made us put in an alarm system this last year. So, yeah.
So, tell me, any reasonably thinking human being hearing all of this shit that you just spewed out now, and we're unsafe.
Yeah.
And you guys are complying with this.
Yeah. Well, we have to,
because
otherwise,
no option.
Right? Otherwise, here's
we're untrustworthy.
Yeah. Well, doing this on the cheapest way possible, using flax bales because we don't have the right kind of soil on the range to just mine that dirt out of the hill. And the hill will collapse in and settle in if we take dirt out of there.
Yeah.
We could actually wind up degrading our neighbor to the south's property and having their property become part of our property. I'm not sure how else to explain that.
Anyways,
so we can't take that much out of the hill, but even if we could take that material out of the hill, we can't use it to build our berm because the natural angle of repose for the material we have on the range is a 15-to-1 slope. It's got no gravel. It's got no sand. It's mostly Regina gumbo, for lack of a better term, and a little bit of topsoil. So by the time you make a hill of that, when you make the hill, it's going to be the right size hill. But then over time, it's going to slump and settle and flow because that's what clay does when it gets moist. And it's going to turn into a 15-to-1 slope. So in order to build a berm, a traditional berm out of dirt, we'd have to buy gravel, we'd have to buy sand and mix it with our clay and our topsoil in order to make a berm. So
you can see how all this fucking around equates to nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's why Saskatchewan and Alberta are appointing their own provincial chief firearms officer.
Are they going ahead with that, or?
Yes, they are.
Nice.
I was on a conference call yesterday with Minister Jeremy Harrison and Minister Dustin Duncan from the provincial government. They are moving ahead once COVID gets settled and the economy is open. But you can see how, we're the safest demographic by far, and yet they still decide to punish us, right? And we're not even in city limits. Fuck.
Yeah.
Unreal. Okay, so backing up just a little bit, Francois wanted to learn, he got here late. He was wondering about the shotgun thing. And just quickly, John.
Okay, so if you take a 12-gauge shotgun with removal or a 10-gauge shotgun with removable choke tubes, the way the CFC has always classified firearms, it was a functioning firearm once all barrel accoutrements have been removed, i.e. flash hiders or muzzle brakes or chokes, like removable chokes out of a 12-gauge. So if you measure a 12-gauge with a straight cylinder bore, it's 19.1 millimeters. If you measure a 10-gauge, it's 19.6 millimeters. Now, if you then bore out that muzzle and then thread it for choke tubes, it's now a 20.1 millimeters on a 12-gauge. I don't know what a 10-gauge is. It would be bigger.
Yeah.
So now if you
choke tubes and
so if you have a threaded choke tube that you can remove to swap from full to modified to improved cylinder to a rifled choke or whatever, if you have a removable choke tube, then your shotgun, your 12-gauge or 10-gauge shotgun is over 20 millimeter bore diameter. If you have an 8-bore or a 6-bore shotgun, it is over 20 millimeters cooked anyway. There are a couple guys I know that are prolific goose hunters that are absolutely besides themselves because they shoot almost exclusively 8-bores at geese.
Right, because I want to shoot them at a half mile.
Well, I'm not going to disparage anybody that wants to shoot anything.
True.
Now, Bill Blair did announce yesterday that this provision does not include 12-gauge shotguns and blah, blah, blah. But he's not a fucking lawyer.
Well, he's not a lawyer, and until it's printed in the Canadian Gazette, he can say whatever the fuck he wants. It means nothing until it's printed, and they get printed every Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah,
that's right.
I gotta wonder how much this. But this isn't there. Yeah, but that isn't there. What about these?
That's so naive.
Really hey.
That's so naive and ignorant.
Absolutely, it is. But you know what? There's a lot of that going on right now. Yeah. And we just need to stop that shit. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And let's attack what's on that list right now.
Well,
I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud again?
You look at some of these threads that have, people attacking those dudes, calling them FUDs. And for whoever's engaging on social media there, do not call them FUDs. That will not get you anywhere. In fact, it'll infuriate them even further and push them further from our cause.
Listen, grow the fuck up and band together a little bit. That's all we need.
Yeah.
This infighting shit has been the bane of this movement.
That's the reason we're here
the entire time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So Francois says, so my 8 is now a prohibit. I said, yeah. Mike Heineck says 8
Francois,
gauge.
you don't have an 8.
Yeah, well, he does. His 08, he says. Mike Heineck says 8 gauge. That's awesome. Actually, Mike, the technical term is 8 bore. Nobody's ever made an 8 gauge.
That's right.
They stopped saying bore at 10 or gauge at 10. I'm just fucking with you, Mike.
You're probably the grammar police too, aren't you?
Yeah,
you
yeah. It's a goddamn magazine, not a clip. Jesus!
Right, there we go.
Well, for shooting a grand.
Well, that would be a clip then. Geez, like what the hell's wrong? Anyways,
yeah. Well, you know what, guys? I think that should do it for now.
You guys have any other questions before we go?
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose it's probably time to wrap this up, hey?
Yeah. Can I go back to bed now?
I think I'm going to have another liquor drink. Maybe I'll wake up in the morning all hungover and be late.
Well, we'll be there. I think Shirley's coming too, so.
Oh, is he? Shirley, you can't be serious. Sorry,
Yes,
Shirley. I keep saying that because I know it annoys you slightly.
Rob, Shirley. You keep swearing you'll have to go syndicated. We'll go there. Don't will
worry.
Fucking
you know what?
Radio.
Damn the man. Screw the dude. Independent.
Screw the dude.
Unless, of course, you want to give us money to sponsor us like EM Precision Rifles.
Yeah. Boys, we need to talk off air too. We got some big news that we got to talk about. So,
okay. Just last one here, Doug. It's a clusterfuck because they threw the OIC together without thought because they didn't want a good tragedy to go to, good tragedy to go to waste. That's just typical, typical political strategy.
You know what's awesome when they've got paintball markers, airsoft guns, bolt action 308 single shot rifles.
Classic throwing shit at the wall, seeing what sticks. And listen, there are enough people out there gobbling that shit up.
Yep.
Deep throating that shit and fucking campaigning. Yeah, fucking A, let's go. Yeah. You're really doing something there.
Yeah, that's right.
So why wouldn't they? People permit this shit. So what the fuck? It's just fuel for the fire. Wonder how long they will measure the bore on a blunderbuss. Shut up, Oscar.
It's the largest point of the bore.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
No, it's actually what the CFC said.
Yeah.
They measure the bore or gauge of a shotgun or the rifling of a barrel at its widest point.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Is there anything else we need to talk about tonight? There's a shitload of stuff more we could talk about, but I think
there is.
We've got to beat this one to death. What's that? Who do we have on Saturday, Sean?
Canadian University Shooting Sport.
Nice.
Fucking A, Dave.
That'll be a nice break from the.
That'll be awesome to get him on.
Or maybe it won't.
Huh?
Maybe it won't be a nice break. Maybe it'll just be more of the same. OIC ban shit, blah blah blah.
No, no, we're gonna steer it. We're gonna steer it a little bit different. We got to involve politics for sure because he's wrestling with that too.
Well, I'm sure he's fighting the politics thing, but at a university
but I wanna,
level.
In the hardest setting in existence right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no kidding.
Where all these libtards get educated.
Yeah, I want to hear about that because that influence at that level, that venue sort of thing, that's huge. And there's some of the most what do I want to say, vulnerable minds right now,
are the most vehemently anti-gun, most vulnerable. You know what? That is the front line. You know, university shooting sports, that might actually be the front line of gun advocacy.
I think so. This fight,
I'll be honest with you.
Absolutely.
For sure it is, because you catch them.
Because that generation right now, man.
Yeah.
Man, I want to kick every one of them in the fucking teeth.
Except for Dave Coleman.
Elbow to the eye socket. Eh?
9:30 Saturday, Dave Fallman, the one we don't want to kick in the teeth.
That's right.
Yeah.
The good Dave Fallman. Wait, is there a bad Dave Fallman?
I don't think there is.
It's like a Jekyll and Hyde thing, or
not yet, not unless I convert him.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, bye now.
All right.
Thanks for coming out, guys. Keep your stick on the ice. Don't let the bastards get you down. All that stuff.
Give somebody a rooster speech next time you see him.